Welcome to With Intention. This is Jon Giganti. Thanks so much for being here. I'm really excited to be in this amazing setting at Denison University. We're here in Granville, Ohio, and we're about to interview James Clear. James is a friend of mine. He went to school at Denison. He's a thought leader on habits, and I'm excited to talk to him.
A lot of people have heard the term, oh, you should start small. I'll just focus on running 10 minutes. But even that is like still way too big. What I'm talking about is like tying your running shoes.
How are you, man?
Good, dude.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for coming. We met, I think it's 6 years ago. Why don't you talk about what you do, and then we'll get into the why behind it.
Sure. Well, I mean, as you know, I've been writing for the last 5-6 years now. So I spend most of my time writing about habits, behavior change. My focus is on trying to find good ideas and then share them and make them interesting and accessible and practical to apply.
Okay, so we're back at Denison University, Granville, Ohio. This is where you played ball.
Yeah.
Got your cap on. What does this place mean to you?
Coming to Denison was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I don't even say that as someone who's like trying to hype it up or anything. It was transformative for me. I was also coming back from a serious injury and rebounding from that, and this was like the perfect place for me to do it. My sophomore year of high school, I was hit in the face with a baseball bat, and kind of total accident, but the bat came flying through the air and came around my head and hit me like right in between the eyes. Wow. Broke both eye sockets, broken nose, broke my ethmoid bone, which is the bone behind your nose. Bulging left eye, I had double vision. Between all of this, I couldn't drive for like 8 of the next 9 months. I had to go to physical therapy and practice really basic stuff like walking in a straight line. I got back and started to play, and I got this itch to try to get better, but I didn't have any option to like transform rapidly. I had to start slow. I had to start small.
Sure.
And so I just tried to focus on whatever little piece I could to make some tiny improvement each day. The story really in a lot of ways of my life, but especially of my Denison career, is that I just kept getting better every year. And so, first I was just trying to get back and operate at some decent level. And then my second year I was able to start. Then my third year I was team captain. And then my fourth year I was an academic All-American.
So how did you, I know you write about it now, you're a thought leader on habits and performance now, but how did you have that mindset? Was that by intention? Did you know that going in that, hey, I've got a goal? Did you set a goal by senior year, I want to do X? Or was it just, no, every day I want to just get a little bit better?
What's funny is that I set a lot of goals in high school.
Yeah.
I was like obsessed with it, trying to think about, what I wanted to achieve and what awards I wanted to win and all that type of stuff. So I was very goal oriented to start. I would say that was like my initial bias.
Yeah.
And now I'm much more system focused. I worry much less about the goal and much more about the process and the system. The daily practice on the field, the daily studying for class, the continual training in the gym.
So it's interesting. I would say I was thinking about this morning driving over, out of all the stuff that I've learned from you and talking and reading, probably the perspective change for me on goal setting is probably the number one thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting and somewhat counterintuitive thing. Like an example that I give a lot, say that you set a goal of cleaning your garage. Now, your garage might be messy and you work up a burst of motivation, you go out there some Saturday, you clean it all up, you get the result that you want.
Yeah.
So the garage is clean, but if you didn't change the messy, sloppy, pack rat habits that led to a messy garage, then like 2 weeks from now or 3 months from now or whatever, you're gonna have a messy garage again.
Yeah, sure.
Any result that you get is only a temporary change. And so if you're not committed to the system, if you're not committed to the process, then at best you can hope for a burst of motivation and a temporary improvement.
Yeah. How do you do that? If you're struggling with something or you want to get better, how do you embrace that?
Yeah, there are a variety of changes you can make. One example is environment design. If you walk into pretty much any living room in America, all the couches and chairs face the television. So it's like, what is that room designed to get you to do? It's designed to get you to watch TV.
Sure.
So if you want to watch less TV, redesign the environment, put the TV inside a wall unit and close it so that you don't see it as much. You're just trying to like reduce your exposure to cues in the environment that are driving you toward negative habits.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you can increase your exposure to positive cues. So, for example, we buy apples and put them in the bottom of the fridge in the crisper. And then I would forget that they were there and they would go bad. And then 2 weeks later, I'd have to throw them out. I'd be super annoyed that we're like, wasting money and stuff. What we did was we went and bought a display bowl and put it in the center of the counter in the kitchen and then put the apples in there. And now they're gone in like 2 days. And that idea of putting fewer steps between you and the good behaviors and more steps between you and the bad behaviors. It sounds simple, but so much of the game of winning habits is about reducing friction of your good habits and increasing the friction of your bad ones. And if you can do that, environment design is one good way to do it, then you often find that making the right choice is much easier.
Sure. Take us through a day in the life. Like, how do you start your day where you can reduce that friction?
Yeah, well, so one way I like to think about it is with a concept that I call decisive moments.
Okay.
And so, like, there's a moment, for example, every night around 5:15 or so, my wife gets home from work, and either we change into our workout clothes and go to the gym, or we sit on the couch and turn on the TV and watch a show and order food or whatever. And it's really that like 2-minute span of whether we change into our workout clothes or not that determines if the workout happens.
Yeah.
It like sets the tone for the next 2 hours. And that's what I call a decisive moment. That, you know, living a good evening in that sense, being productive or being healthy is really just about getting those 2 minutes under control. So when you ask, what's a day in the life like for you? What I try to think about is where are those decisive moments throughout my day, and how can I just pour my energy into mastering those? Because if I can just master that 10 to 20 minutes sprinkled throughout the day, then I can end up living a really good day.
Yesterday I went and worked out. I did not want to go. And the first 5 minutes were a bear, and it's like all of a sudden you start to break a sweat and like something, you get in that flow state or whatever it is. And then I had a great workout, 45 minutes later.
Yeah, there's something about, I don't know that it works exactly this way, but like in physics, the concept, if you have a box on the table, the coefficient of friction, how much friction it's facing, is higher when it's static than when it's moving. Once it's moving, the coefficient of friction reduces. When you aren't moving, you feel more friction, you feel more resistance. And as soon as you get going, things loosen up a little bit. A lot of people have heard the term, oh, you should start small, or you should only do a little bit and then, let it compound from there. But even when you should start small, it's easy to start way too big. Like if I say that to someone, they'll say, oh, okay, well, I wanted to run 3 miles, so I'll just focus on running 10 minutes. But even that is like still way too big. What I'm talking about is like tying your running shoes. All we're trying to do is just like get that box moving. We're just trying to reduce the friction a little bit. We're trying to like grease the wheel.
Yeah.
And as long as you get your running shoes on and like grab your water bottle and step out the door, 90% of the time, the rest of it's gonna follow afterward.
Well, I just want to thank you. You've had a significant impact on my life.
Oh, thanks, man. I
it's
appreciate
been
that.
Really cool to see, again, from 2012, to see all you're doing. I'm excited about the book. So tell us, where can we find the book? And you said October?
Sure, October 16th.
October 16th, okay.
AtomicHabits.com is the place where you can go to check it out. It's called Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, John.
Appreciate it.